22, I think, in the end. Also giving you lots of satisfaction in a high score.
I'll be honest. There's other games where things don't fall your way, and you get one for 40 or whatever in those kind of games. And I think that you got to ride the high when things fall your way, because the game's pretty fickle, and there's a lot of days where it doesn't. But you got to trust your processes, and keep delivering. And hopefully, more often than not, you're on the side where you're picking up the award or doing a bit for the team. Makes all the other days worthwhile, really.
What was it look like when Surya Kumar Yadav was doing what you do best, I suppose?
Yeah, I'm not a massive cricket watcher, and I haven't really seen him play before, but he plays some amazing shots that I haven't seen before. That was an amazing knock. It was one that deserved to be on the winning side for sure, but I think us taking those early wickets, the pressure was on him, and he kept hitting the ball all over the place. But we know we were quite close with if we got his wicket or kept taking wickets at the other end, that we weren't that far away.
Was it always a case of just trying to keep calm? And did Josh do anything to sort of like?
Yeah, I think Josh was amazing. He was. I kept looking at Josh and couldn't really tell the situation of the game from when we were on top to when we were chasing balls some overs. So that's a credit to him and one of his great qualities that he'll bring as a captain. But I think in a high-scoring game, it's easy to get carried away with emotions, and I think that's almost a skill in itself. As much as bowling slow balls and whatever, I think it's almost about keeping your head and keeping all your emotions under control and not getting wrapped up in everything, because obviously with the Indian fans today, it's been amazing to play in front of them. They're so animated, and I think just because of the volume that they produce, you can it can be intense and you can get wrapped up in it. But I think we kept our cool today, and on to the ODIs, I guess.
I was going to say, it must be pleasing to get Josh's first win in this full-time record as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Last two performances weren't ideal from us, but I think again you trust the process, and I think it's a brand that you play that when you come to tournaments it'll pay off. Being brave and aggressive, and always taking that front foot and the aggressive option. I think it's something that it's a long-term goal. It's not necessarily about this series. It's almost the T20 World Cup in October. Where are we going to be, and how are we going to play to be successful in that?
Now go ahead.
First of all, I just wanted to ask you about the decision to bat first, obviously, and being so good at chasing. What was the reasoning for that?
I have no idea. That's a conversation that important people have. So I wasn't involved. Yeah.
With all the conditions here today that were absolutely perfect for batting, once Surya Kumar Yadav got on that roll, was there ever a moment as you were coming sort of towards the end that was a little bit nervy?
No, I think you just isolate every ball. I think there's a famous saying in cricket that every ball's an event, and I think it's very true in T20 cricket, especially when you come down to trying to restrict a team that's trying to chase your score down. It's top of your mark, stand at the top of your mark, and you set fields and you bowl, and you take into consideration the fact that he's now set and he's playing well. Similarly, when they get a single and you got a new batsman on strike, it's a totally different ball game. So I think it's just the isolation of each ball, and working out on that pitch what was going to be the most effective to restrict or take a wicket.
Matt, go ahead.
Reece, just on the lengths today, I think you've managed to get a hard length into the pitch. Can you talk us through the planning that went into that?
Yeah. Well, our batsman came off. Obviously, we set a decent score, but they came off saying that middle of the wicket and change of pace into the middle of the wicket was the hardest to face. It's not. I thought the boundaries were a decent size for Trent Bridge. I haven't seen them that big actually here, but obviously it's a fast outfield which makes up for it. But I think taking everything into consideration, and Malas, who spent a lot of time out there, said that that was the best way to go. And like everything, you just got to try and commit 110%, and again, don't get wrapped up in the emotions. If one goes, you go to the top of your mark and you work out what the next best ball is going to be. So we just commit to that, to the middle of the wicket and change ups.
And there's obviously a few sports up for grabs on the T20 side in terms of bowling attack. Do you feel like you've acquitted yourself pretty well this year in Barbados and in this series?
Yeah, I don't know how many of the last. Since this year, I think I've taken all the opportunities that have come my way. But obviously, new coach, new captain, there's new people to try and impress. So in my head, I think it's back to square one and try and sort of, impress the right people. But ultimately, it's about getting wins as a team and trying to, with every game, how we getting one step closer to trying to win the World Cup in October.
We'll take one each, Mike, Matt, and we'll do two down here.
Bruce Bold, one or two pundits describe that pitch as concrete. Is it a pretty thankless task trying to bowl on a surface as true as that?
Yeah. But again, there's so many deliveries nowadays in T20 cricket with knuckleballs, cutters, Yorker snap, whatever. And again, I think it's just standing at the top of your mark, chatting over to some guys that have got probably more experience than myself, and coming up with what's gonna give them a single or what's not going to give them a boundary option, etc. So I think bowling these days is a bit of a thankless task, but I think you just got to put your hand up, be brave, and I think the hardest thing nowadays is that one day it doesn't go your way and you're the villain, and you have to get yourself up for it for the next game to try and sort of be the hero. So I think that bowlers nowadays have almost got to learn more mentally about T20 cricket, perhaps more than sort of the skills.
How do you sum up the series as a whole, and obviously a positive finish today? How close is away the team wants to be?
I think it was really, really good, this series, actually. Obviously, we've almost been trendsetters in the last few years of how to go about the game. And I think it's interesting when we come up against other teams, like we came up against the West Indies in February, we came up against India today. It's interesting how other teams have sort of adapted to counteract the way that we've always played. So I think that's valuable information going into the World Cup. Yeah.
Go ahead.
You said you haven't watched Surya Kumar Yadav playing a lot, but when he was playing with all those unconventional 360 degrees, did he remind you of shades of everyday Williams?
Sorry?
Did he remind you of everyday Williams? Surya Kumar Yadav with his unconventional...
Did it remind me of anyone?
AB in particular?
No, I don't think honestly, that was like so unique. Like I haven't seen or come up against anything like that, to be honest. There's some special shots that I don't know how they played, to be honest.
Over the years, we have seen that this Indian top order can be a little bit vulnerable against left arm spin, especially with the new ball. So, was there any discussion in your game planning that these guys can be, better in the
I don't think you can think too much like that. I think you have to, personally, as a left arm, if they weren't, or if the numbers or stats suggest they weren't vulnerable, it's almost still, you have to go with the mindset of how am I going to get in the game. There's other teams where that might be the case. Maybe India, people might say that the stats suggest that left armers come up better, but I think it's not a given. You still have to perform and bowl and nail your skills.
Last one here, please.
Well taken of stand. So I want to ask, like India had won both the matches quite comprehensively. So the Indians had gained that momentum. You think this was a much needed win considering the fact that ODIs are also coming up, 3 ODIs, so you needed that momentum back.
Yeah, possibly, but then again, there's going to be some more new faces in the ODI squad. So you could almost say, how much does that momentum sort of count? yeah, I mean, it's going to be back to level. I think that's the nature of the beast. However, in T20, that there's no prizes for being close to the score almost. So it's going to be like win or bust a lot of the time, and I think we're seeing that a lot more. That they're bigger wins just through people trying to chase down whatever they set.
Thank you.